Good morning, this is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the pre-market webinar for the morning of Friday, the 23rd of May. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own chance. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right now, yesterday I was saying that the stats were not particularly promising for seeing much more downside here, but we have seen another leg down this morning, which I'm pleased to see, and which apparently I understand is because Trump is announcing 50% tariffs starting on the European Union from the start of June. That is interesting, and obviously the next phase of the trade war if he's actually serious about it, but I think he might well be serious about it. He was talking basically about moving on to the European Union, and well, we will see how this develops. But in the short term, obviously this has taken it down. We've made the little level top target on ES. No current divergence on ES. In Q, we've almost made it to the target down here, and we're getting pretty close to the rising support trend line. On RTY, we've gone down. We've got a possible head and shoulder neckline down here in the 1975 area, and I think the little level top target on IWM will likely make target this morning. We could see an extension down to the next level down, which is pretty close to the monthly pivot at 1923.90. On YM, YM has broken down from this little asymmetric double top, and we're pretty close to the first support at 41,000, and we may well see that next. On DAX, DAX 60-minute sell signal has reached possible near miss target. We'll see how it goes from here. ESTX, we have again not a huge amount of action here, and the 60-minute sell signal has already made target. Let's have a quick look at the bigger picture charts. Okay, looking at the daily chart, we've obviously gone too low to set up a daily RSI 5 sell signal, and we are getting close to the obvious backtest target, which would be the 200 DMA. I've got that currently at 57.70. And we will see whether or not it makes it. But I think let's go. The two big targets here are the 200 DMA at 57.70 and the daily middle band at 57.38, and they're the two I will be watching today. On the hourly chart, the RSI 14 sell signal has made the possible near miss target. There's no particular reason to think that would go lower. On SPX, we've got what's possibly a very, very dubious looking head and shoulders, but I've not marked anything in. We've got the RSI 5 buy signal made target on the 15-minute, and the RSI 14 buy signal is still in progress. As we have obviously just to mention, RTY, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed, and YM, we've got a 60-minute buy signal fixed. Neither of those has made target yet. They could, if we go low enough today, both fail. Okay, let's have a look at the Qs. Qs, nice little trace here. Not the RSI 14 sell signal had reached the possible near miss target and will likely reach target this morning. So that will clear all of the 60-minute sell signals out of the way. On the 15-minute, RSI 5 buy signal was the only one that fixed, and that's made target. On Dia, we've got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed, and actually that could make target today, potentially. We will see how that develops, and certainly trade war against the European Union is not likely to be particularly great for the markets, which is already reeling from the bond trouble we've been having. Looking at Dia on the 60-minute chart, no current divergence. 15-minute chart, we've still got an open RSI 14 buy signal, and the RSI 5 buy signal obviously made target. Looking at IWM, we've got on the daily chart, the RSI 5 sell signal has reached the possible near miss target. I haven't marked it in yet, but yeah, so we've also failed at resistance here, which is interesting if that continues to hold. On this hourly chart, no current divergence. Obviously, we'd already made the hourly RSI 14 sell signal target, and the RSI 14, we've still got the 15-minute buy signal fixed, and the RSI 5 buy signal made target. Looking at DAX, still got a pretty nice looking, I think, full-sized at this stage, RSI 5 sell signal brewing, and Nikkei has continued to be pretty weak and has continued down, is now testing the daily middle band as support. Okay, let's have a look at DX. Now, DX has continued down, is continuing down at the moment. It's got a target there in about the 98.4 area, and I think it may well make it. This looks kind of like a bull flag here, but it's not got a solid resistance trend line, so keeping an open mind on that. On ZB, we've been seeing a bit of a rally. Yeah, Doug, we're obviously having a problem with links this morning. I'm going to see whether that fixes into Monday morning. Could you, when you send when I send you the link for the pre-market video and everything today, could you test the link in that email? I've just changed it. So we will see. Okay, great. Bonds been rallying a bit. We reached a new high on TYX for since 2009 yesterday, and the IHS there is almost complete. If we're going to see a bonds crisis, well, that's where really it starts. So the big beautiful bill is kind of what I had in mind when I was saying we might see serious bond trouble this year, increase in the deficit. At the moment the deficit is so high and the debt is so high that it's looking delicate. Looking at Euro USD, we've broken up from an IHS with a target in the 1152 area. Not made much sign of making that there, and we've got potentially a little level bottom on DX and a little level top on Euro USD here, which I'm watching. GBP USD has continued higher after making the bull flag target. USD JPY, we've got a target down here in the 141 area, and I think it's got a decent shot at making it, although we do have a potential little level bottom here too. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fix. That's not reached the possible near miss target. Okay, NZ, we've got a possible bull flag forming here too, and that's progressing well. Next obvious target will be up here in about the 60-200 area. All right, let's have a look at CL. CL, this failed double bottom that I've marked in is getting pretty close to a possible fail here. So if this breaks down, I'm thinking this may head down directly. It's starting to break down. Head down directly. The main target would be a test of this rising support and really bear flag support in the 55.5 area, and if we break below that, then that would take us back into the lows and likely lower in my view. All right, HO, nice looking bear flag there too. RBOB, nice looking bear flag there too. NG, obviously we failed on this IHS. It broke up, classic fail, went below the right shoulder low. I'm expecting this to deliver a retest of 3.1 and probably take us down into the 3.0 area. Again, I'm not that, I don't think it's, I don't think the prospects for energy are looking that great right now. GC is getting pretty close to flag resistance. I've got that in the 3370, 3380 area really. So waiting to see whether that will break up. We've got an IHS target, which is, I've marked that in as the 3485 area, but actually it's not. That's the 3385 area. So hang on, let's just correct that. All right, silver has broken up from the wedge, and I'm still expecting to see a retest of this high here. We almost delivered that, but not quite. Palladium, we've actually got a nice looking little head and shoulders, which is broken down here. So we've got a 6-minute sell signal that's reaching the possible near miss target. This has got a target down basically in the 962.5 to 963 area. Platinum, we don't have an obvious target. Pattern having broken down. We've got a possible neckline here and possible asymmetric double top support. We've seen a big move up here, and we could see some more downside. HG still waiting, still consolidating, still waiting to see if we are going to see a follow through on the breakup from this wedge. KC, we had an IHS breakup here that's failed into lower lows, and if we go a little lower, then we're going to start doing things like reaching the support trend line. If we reach that, I'll just redraw this resistance trend line above. Just for an expansion of the falling wedge. Sugar, still quite liking this IHS. Possible little level bottom here. We'll see how that develops. On CC, we've got a little level top here, which is breaking down with a target in the 9550 to 9700 area, really. 60-minute sell signal has reached the possible near miss target. Looking at cotton. Nice looking double bottom, and needs to get back over the monthly pivot and convert it if it's going to go higher. It might do that, in which case the target is in the 67 area. Looking at lumber, just drifting sideways. My overall lean is down. On wheat, do we have a possible bear flag here? Not a nice one. Could be forming an IHS right shoulder as an alternative. 60-minute sell signal is fixed and hasn't made target yet, and we are breaking this little rising support. On corn reached a possible IHS neckline, might be doing a right shoulder retracement here. On soy, we've got a little level bottom, which is pretty much made target. I'm inclined to call that at this stage. So, it's coming down again. Wondering about a possible move to the possible IHS neckline in about the 1036 area. Sorry. Yeah, that's where it is, right. On ZL, possible head and shoulders forming on live cattle. Still wondering about a bit more downside here, and lean hogs is just broken down below the rising wedge, and I'm looking for a bit more downside there too. So we shall see. All right, let's have a quick recap on ES. Now, this morning, Trump has announced 50% tariffs on EU starting on June the 1st. If he's serious about it, then this is the next phase of the trade war and is not going to do any good things for stocks. This held things along because I was a bit skeptical. I was wanting to see more downside yesterday, but I was a bit skeptical given the historical stats, which are basically for a low volume day today and bullish days Tuesday through Thursday next week after a holiday on Monday, of course. So we will see how that develops. But obviously, if we're going into trade war with the Europeans, then well, markets could go down. Do I have any decent patterns for them to go down and targets? Not really, but I am watching on the SPX chart. The two key support levels I'm watching here are, hang on, the 200 DMA, which I've got at 57.70, and the daily middle band, which I've got at 57.38. We don't have any pattern set up here, but we could develop one to go lower. But at the moment, we don't have one. So we shall see. We've pretty much made all the 60-minute sell signals targets I was talking about back up here. We've got fixed buy signals on the 60-minute on RTY and YM, but we've got nothing at all on ES and NQ at the moment. So we will see how that develops, and should be an unexpectedly interesting day. So we shall see. All right, great. Looking at questions. Oh, right. Okay, and it worked. Maybe it was because I hadn't set up the meeting before. All right, good. Fingers crossed. But in which case, I'll remember that for next time. All right, in that case, that's a wrap. My pleasure as always. Everyone have a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you guys again on Monday. All right, take care.